What you see in front of yourself is not a collection of the pyramids from Egypt or from a different country or from South America. No, these are pictures from the forgotten, censored, hidden pyramids from China. That's right. And this, guys, is very, very suspicious. You see, the policy of the Chinese party is very simple. To ignore the hundreds of pyramids through the country, to prohibit the visiting, of course, and the studying and even approaching the pyramids from an archaeological standpoint. Why such strict policy and secrets around basically a chunk of blocks? Why is it? Well, very simple. Because pyramids are not officially part of the Chinese history. In the Chinese history narrative, in the Chinese history books, pyramids do not exist. So if you suddenly give people the information that actually the whole country is littered with basically massive pyramids, then the whole history of the Chinese world gets destroyed, because then that means that a different culture lived there and the Chinese heritage is it's a lie, or at least part of it. So because of that, the simplest way for them to avoid this is to just turn their head and just completely ignore the fact that yes, indeed, the pyramids in China are very suspicious and most likely are key to a very important secret of our human past. Now let's go somewhere which is very modern but also hides a lot of secrets. We're going to Vancouver in Canada. They have been officially found but not explored, the petroglyphs. That's right, the Canadian petroglyphs copy the Scandinavian style. They are dated at least 3,000 years old. That's why sensational finds don't become the subject of research. As soon as you start researching, you get inconsistencies with the smoothness of our chronology, and this is why this discovery, for example, the Scandinavian style petroglyphs in Canada, are not investigated, are not further discussed, because it's a very sensitive attack to the official history narrative. Guys, very simple, very obvious. We are looking right now at another problematic situation which is similar to the Chinese pyramids. There's stuff there which need further explanation, however, they are afraid to explore that simply because they know that is not gonna go well with the official narrative. Now, guess what, guys? There is actually a manual of free energy devices and systems and a couple of volumes. That's right, a document which was found in the digital library called A Guide to Free Energy Devices and Systems, Schematics and Options from 50 Researchers based on alternative ways of generating energy, such as from a vacuum with high electric potential and anti-gravity as a side effect. So guys, pretty crazy, isn't it? On the subject of how long ago these have been inventions on the alternative energy with higher efficiency than mankind has known. But what is the problem? Very simple. Well, effectively, as you guys know, when it's cheaper to build and cheaper to sell, it does not convert into profit for the big corporations. Big corporations, big companies, big people who want to sell their oil and petrol and gas and whatever cannot profit if there is alternate energy generation, and of course a free one or a super cheap one. But yes, remember that literally dozens of scientists or even hundreds of scientists in the past have researched and have developed and have known that you can actually use not just petrol or not just gas, you can use so much more out of literally thin air, because you're using gravity, you're using electromagnetic waves, you're using the ether, using energy in the atmosphere, using so many things, okay, to generate energy, because energy is always around us. And this book proves effectively that we've been constantly lied about the free energy, because a number of corporations, they want to make most of the profit on this planet. And this example goes really well with the new electric cars. You see, back in 1912, the Columbia Victoria Mark 68 electric car was already there. This is some pictures about it, okay? And also in places like, for example, London, you would have electric buses. That's right, literally more than 100 years ago. And now they're selling us this new concept of electric cars, as in they're sustainable, whatever, when this technology was already available to us for more more than 100 years. The problem was that these people could not benefit from it as much as now, and because of that they did not want to promote this free energy. So remember, whenever there's something new comes out or some new technology, whenever the technology existed quite a while ago and only now they're publishing it because now they can make a profit out of it, and that's the only reason why it's been delayed for so long. Now let's look at another mystery, and this is about the terracotta army and the columns at Pompeii that actually turned out to be hollow inside. Now there's a big question: if hollow cylinders, columns, can be made by pouring a mold, how were a hollow statue made? Of course, this is a big question. How would you make a hollow statue because it's empty inside? What mold would you use? Would you use a real human inside? What was this actually made? And of course the technology of how you can make a hollow statue. That is a big question. How do you even do that? Of course that is a big question, and this again is another mystery. How the heck have they actually managed to make hollow army soldiers like with that detail? Okay, very interesting. Since we're on the topic of free energy again, let's talk about another amazing invention, and this was published in the Draftsman magazine. Preserved an article about the invention of a 19th century black American inventor. Charles Baker created a friction radiator that used friction to generate heat. The innovation is patented. The type of energy used to create friction does not matter. Could be water, wind, any other natural source. The system allowed for stable and free lighting and heating in the freaking house. Of course, what happened after that? It was completely forgotten, ignored, and never really published in mass or produced in mass, because it would give people literally independence from corporations. Again guys, one example of something that is quite crazy. If you want to bring good to the world does not like it, because at the end of the day the people who control the world are people who are very greedy and all they care about is about their own pockets. Let's go to Edinburgh, the capital of Scotland. This, guys, is a very mysterious place because it has an extensive system of underground caves and tunnels. If you for a moment listen to the official narrative, it's told to be built by a blacksmith who supposedly single-handedly created the entire underground complex in the 18th century. You will see traces of machining and external views identical to the underground cities of Cappadocia and Asia Minor, France, Malta, and of course also Sicily, China, and elsewhere. So effectively we have knowledge which was built, and the same knowledge was used with other different underground tunnels in the world. At the same time, you look at the walls and there's no traces of wax or dripping or nothing. So literally, what kind of illumination did they use back in the day in the 18th century when there was no electricity to be able to actually work under these conditions, when of course they needed candles and fire, but there's no traces of soot, no sooting, and no wax drips. So of course that is a big question, guys, and renders the following discovery. Effectively, this tunnel is again a confirmation of a technology which was used by different cultures in the world, and all these underground tunnels, which are connected with different parts of the world, like I said before, in all different continents, are made by a civilization which had a very specific purpose, okay, in the past, to use these tunnels for whatever reason. So guys, that's it for today's showcase on some of the most amazing historical mysteries of the world. As always, I shall see you in the next video, and make sure to subscribe to the channel, and guys, take care, see you later in the next upload. Bye.